Hello folks, this is Kevin from Good Day Good Prayers, and today we're going to continue to talk about the timelines, and we're also going to be talking about the portals. And so it will give us a little bit of interesting information about what does it mean, the closing of the portals. Now on DSR chats, we will be talking about the diet, and then we will be doing another life program over there. So you may be interested and want to catch some of the information that we have going on over there as well. We do need people to subscribe to both channels. We've only got about 50 here, and we've got less than 10 over there. So we could certainly use your help. We appreciate that. Thank you. We also would like to get a few more likes, the thumbs up, because we could use that as well. Today, portals. As the Alliance is closing down the portals, it is changing the ability to move from timeline to timeline. There's a lot of reasons for that. First and foremost, the deep state has had in the past the capability to move from timeline to timeline. By closing down the timelines, certain timelines, it will stop any creatures from being able to get through the portals to attack. A lot of those creatures are just like here on planet Earth. You have your good and you have your bad. Each planet is like that. You go to Arturia or any of the other planets, and you're going to find that there's a good element and an evil element. Now, the evil likes to hide behind the idea of there being good, and it does kind of fool some people to a certain extent. The media was very good at hiding the idea of how evil the deep state was, who the deep state was, and many people who were in Congress, many people who were in some of the different administrations were extremely evil people. They were actually a part of the deep state. They were part of the evil element. And most of us had no idea. There should be no surprises today. But the same thing is true of all of the planets. And when you go to one of these other planets, you are liable to find good elements as well as evil elements. And there are people who have traveled to many, many different planets. And one of the things that's very interesting, they talk about needing spacesuits and this kind of thing. That is not totally accurate. There are some places where the breathing is a little bit heavier, the air, and there are some places where the air is a little bit lighter, and you may need an apparatus to be able to breathe the air a little bit better. But as far as all of the other stuff that they show, that isn't altogether accurate. But they like to do that kind of thing to kind of, push the idea that it's dangerous going out into space. It's really not as dangerous as they would have you to believe. So that is an interesting part of this conversation. But time travel is another part of all of this. And how do we get from one timeline to another? How do we get from one planet to another? How do we get to all of these different places? Well, time machines, and there are various types of time machines. You've seen some of them on various movies and television shows and so on, and they've had their interesting ideas as to what they looked like. Now, the deep state has more or less lost a lot of their ability to move from timeline to timeline. But in the early days, when the Alliance, when the Alliance was trying to stop them at destroying a lot of what they were destroying, it was very difficult because the Alliance did not yet have all the bells and whistles that the deep state had. So it was very hard to stop them at whatever it was that they were doing. However, what is very interesting is that very quickly the Alliance was able to get up to snuff. And of course, a lot of that was through the help of the Galactic Federation. They have done a lot to help the Alliance so that the Alliance could have various weaponry and various machinery, equipment that they needed to be able to compete. Because it was very important that as many timelines as possible were able to be saved. Now, it is possible that somebody who is from the deep state might move from one timeline to another to escape the Alliance, who is hunting them down and trying to stop them from, being able to do any more damage. And this has been happening. Now, they say a lot of things about how many timelines run simultaneously next to each other. Essentially all of them from throughout history. But how many historical timelines have been destroyed and how many current timelines have been destroyed. Now, if there is, in fact, 12 different timelines that are current timelines, it is rumored, and I have heard from different places, that there are about 5 to 6 of the current timelines that have been destroyed. Now, by closing down the portals, they can stop any further timelines from being destroyed. They can arrest the deep state from each of those timelines in that timeline, so that they cannot cross over to another timeline and do any damage. Now, on our next video, we will talk about how to destroy timelines, and I think that'll be an interesting idea, and hopefully you will have an opportunity to get a better grasp on all of these concepts. The world is changing. Okay, the idea of them keeping all of this stuff away from you for all of these decades and generations and so on is quite interesting. However, we are quickly beginning to move into a period of time of knowledge, and that knowledge is going to become very important as we move forward. So we have to take a look at all of these things, and we have to understand these things, because the way that we operate in the future will be dictated, I think is the best word, by what we know. And if we don't know certain things that we need to know, it's going to kind of put us behind the 8 ball, because life is going to be completely different. The economy will be different. You'll have complete control over your own economic situation. You'll be able to go to whatever level of economy that you want to go, and you will have the capability of being and doing whatever it is that you want to do. You'll have control over what kinds of work you do, and so on, because a lot of that will be work for yourself. That'll be very interesting. Remember to give us a like and to subscribe to both of our channels, but most of all, you have a good day. A good day will always begin with with good prayers that reach the throne of God. And if your prayers reach the throne of God, you will in fact have a good day. With that being said, good day.